Welcome all you awesome gamers, and to the citizens of Tyria, I greet you. In this episode I'm going to take a quick recap of how I'm feeling about the 9 professions at this point. From there I'll roll it into what I sort of consider secondary priorities in the way of bags, storage, the banks, and maybe dabble slightly into the Blackline trading company. If that's something you can get into, I'll see you on the other side in a second. Okay guys, so as we're now that we've had a nice look at a brief overview of the 9 professions, the 5 realms, the 5 races, and a little gameplay, I just want to do a quick recap of, just for doing my part of how I'm feeling about the game, how I'm feeling about the parts of it. I can't talk about races or realms, that's personal taste, and that you'll make that yourself. But I just want to share, just for perhaps amusement factor, of how I'm feeling about these 9 classes / professions. Again, first and foremost is make your own choice. My first recommendation is play all 9. I have been so surprised by so many of these guys. The absolute primary recommendation I make is try all 9. If you're going to get into the game long term, level 10 is 2 hours. Tell me it's not worth 18 hours for a game you may spend the next year or so quite engrossed in. So that's my first thought. Now, I want to talk about how I felt about them day 0 and how I feel about them at level 10. And I'll do this at each tier that I jump in, and we'll see how for historical purposes and amusement, we'll see where it goes. Warrior, dull, so day 0. Warrior, dull, hack and slash, low expectations and little interest. Guardian, I was curious about. I expect half warrior, half mage. Revenant, dark and sinister. I should probably click them while I do it so we can at least see. Transition will take longer than it'll take me to talk about it. Revenant, dark and sinister. I had no interest in it, to be honest. I had no interest in the Revenant. Ranger, boring. I don't know. I just felt it's going to be a dull hack and slash class that I have no interest in having anything to do with. Thief, curiosity. I want to see where that goes. I'm new to the genre. I've always found the mysterious assassin, roguey kind of role could be intriguing, and so I knew I was going to have a play with this and see where it goes. Engineer, I had high hopes for. I thought that I was going to be given a mechanically techy, almost sci-fi character. That was my perception day 0. And that's what I was thinking, that I was absolutely looking forward to playing the engineer. Necromancer, to be honest, as a newbie to the genre, I don't understand the difference, but I remember I had no understanding of the difference of the 3 mages. I know I've heard Elementalist a lot from bits and pieces through your general gameplay over the last 20 years, but I don't understand or expect anything to be different about them. I expect a bland slight variations of the mage, and at this point I say I'm not completely wrong on that. So the Necromancer, I'm like, Elementalist, of course, that was absolutely one I was going to play. It's a solid, safe bet, that makes sense. And the Mesmer, I don't know what it is. I like the Necromancer. Now, level 10. The Warrior, a wonderful surprise and really enjoying it. Guardian, complete disappointment. Revenant, caught me completely off guard. By far my favourite of the heavyweight class. Its mechanics, its little specials, they just make sense. They feel comfortable. I understand. It just seems to be crafted and assembled with so much more skill than the other 2 at this point. Ranger, who I was disinterested, has absolutely become one of my favourites. The thief, as I've mentioned, completely exceeded my expectations, and I'm having a wonderful time playing this character, and will continue to do so. Engineer, oh man, I'm just going to light the fuse on that thing and let it go. That's where I'm. That's where I'm at with it. I'm going to tell you. I'm just telling you what I feel. Necromancer. To be honest, Necromancer feels like what I thought the Guardian would be. A little bit warrior, a little bit magic. That's how I feel about the Necromancer. I feel the Necromancer should be the Guardian. Yeah, I'm going with that. Elementalist, what I expected. Traditional, safe, solid, pleasant. Not blown away, so I'm neutral. Not blown away, nothing negative to say about it. It was exactly what I expected. Mesmer, oh, one word. Diamond. Just because you did, guys. What? Special. Very special. And unique. So, a quick overall, just in my opinion, remember guys, I insist you make your own as fellow newbies. It's a wonderful part of the starting fun. But in my opinion, loosely, I would recommend the 4. If you're looking for a relaxed game where the controls are simple and smooth and you're not running around like a lunatic, I would highly recommend Ranger and the 3 Mages. Any of them, play them out, feel them out. I found them absolutely the easiest, most comfortable and most sensible avatars or characters to play. The 3 Warriors and the Thief, like I say, I'm really struggling with melee combat. It's just so much spinning and flipping and throwing the camera around in all directions to see where things are happening because you're so close to your targets. I'm finding that extremely frustrating as a newbie. But that may have, I assume with skill and time that will evolve. But for now, just from 1 to 10, I'm really struggling with close melee combat. So if I had to pick from these guys, I'm absolutely loving the Thief. I've said that, no denying it. If I had to pick heavyweights, the Revenant, yeah, definitely stands alone over the other 2. If you haven't bought the expansion packs, then I would recommend Warrior over Guardian at this point. I want to see as I do this at tier and intervals how I change my perspective on these things. So the big disappointments to me were the Guardian and the Engineer, loving Mesmer, Thief and Ranger, and if I had to heavyweight, Revenant, and that's kind of where I'm at for now, guys. So that's just a quick summary of how I'm feeling about the game at this point. Back in a second, I want to talk about sort of next tier stuff in the way of bags, storage, banks, and the Blackline store. I'll see you in a sec. Okay guys, so the next thing I want to talk about is, and bring into the fold, is bags, storage, bank, and dabble in Blackline trading company. Understand that at this point I'm completely mechanically illiterate at this part of the game, but I think it's essential that I mention it because I myself, new to the genre, made a mistake. I put it in the category of one of the other mistakes I made. Now, just to give a quick example, bag. You buy bags and you put them in these slots here, and they make more available slots down here. So you start with I think it's a 20 slot bag. I'm pretty sure it is. Mouse over, will it tell us? Yeah, 20 slots. So you start with that by default. You'll pick up, where is it, a 4 slot bag, about level 3, level 4 in your first 15 minutes of play. And so you'll start with these 2 bags. And I made the mistake of, just a newbie mistake, typical, is I went to a trader, or a merchant, sorry, and that's anyone that has this icon over their head. And they can sell you, I'm pretty sure, as far as I've seen, at least in the 1 to 15 zones, I'm pretty sure all of them sell bags. So you click on them, have a quick talk, and they'll have bags. Now, this guy here has got 2 5-slot bags. I found most NPC merchants sell 4-slot bags. So my very first minutes of playing, this is in the immediate zone of the human realm, I came down here, I saw these bags, I saw they were 32 coin, and I sort of got it in my head, oh, it's too expensive, I have no interest in this. And I left it. And if you have a quick look over all my 9 characters I've been playing, I don't think I have any bags other than the initial 20 and the initial 4 given to you early game. And anyway, I realized that was a crippling mistake on my part. Even if it is only a 4-slot bag, guys, keeping in mind that, look, I have this. This was the one I did the big hits with. I've got 5,781 coin. I can spare 32. 0 day, I thought that was a lot, and I wasn't prepared to part with it. So I absolutely recommend that you load this up with any bags you can. Will help. And when as you can see, I'm fully loaded out and collected. Now, one great feature of this game is you can store all your crafting materials. You'll see a lot of tutorials talk about this on YouTube. So a great feature in a gem arena is that anywhere in the game, you don't have to be at a merchant, like you can be at any part, any place. If your bag's overloaded while you're running around doing things, jump up here and deposit all materials. Doing that, you can see it's opened up a few slots for me to continue playing until I have to go back. So just briefly mentioning the bags, make sure you grab as many as you can. At this point, like I said, I've only seen 4s and 5 slot bags made available. You can grab some. Sometimes I dropped a couple of 5 slot bags. I think I picked up as little quests and tasks along the way. Hidden ones, exploration ones, not direct heart ones. And so that's just a quick brief. I just wanted you to be aware of it. Do make sure that you load up on bags immediately. It was a mistake I made, and I constantly kept having an overfull bag, where I went to the hassle of when I make a kill, rather than just auto collect the item, I was manually selecting if I decided whether it was worth it or not. And as a newbie, I have no idea. The next feature then is just bags loaded. The next feature then I want to talk about is banks. So you saw I got 2 or 3 slots. Where did those items go? They go to the bank, which is, to me, it's a mythical storage case off to the side holding a lot of your stuff. And you can collect them by finding a banker. And so in this little realm, you guys see me running around 1 to 15. I believe I found the only one exists in this little town here, 2 or 3 minutes away, but I'll just quickly jump over. And you can retrieve a whole lot of your items, and I didn't know up until almost now as I explored the game more. You can get another 30 slots, I think it is, at the bank if you physically interact with it. So you can go to your bank, dump a whole lot of stuff out of your gear, use the 30 slots there, run off and play some more. I haven't done any of this. This is all new to me. So I think it's extremely critical, as storage is an essential part. We all know, I mean, I haven't played this genre, but I mean, I've seen enough games and enough YouTube tutorials to see people complaining that storage space is one of the most frustrating parts of these games. So here we go, we've got the icon here. So you go to the bank who doesn't have the coin but a bag. Have a quick chat to him, and what we'll be presented with, would have been nice for you, there we go, that's better, is a 30 slot storage bag that we can then throw anything we want to in to give us some room in our bag. And all crafting items, I'm just going to do this very quickly, guys, because like I say, it's not my forte yet. I don't understand, but obviously it looks like, let it load. It's loading all the crafting items that while we were out and playing, shoved into it. It'll all be listed here. And I assume we use these things for crafting and things later. One of the things I do want to praise about this feature is weapons. Interesting. Okay, everything's there, bits and pieces. One of the things I really want to praise is that this 30 slot section here is available to all your characters on that account. So, a gem. This is amazing to me. I had no idea this was coming. So if you happen to get a fantastic item from one of your avatars, but it's not particularly useful to that one, you can throw it in here, jump accounts. That character can be in any of the realms as long as it can find a banking icon or a banking merchant NPC to interact with. We'll get the same interface and can grab that item, pull it out and use it. I think that's absolutely superb treat, Arena. Thank you. I don't know if that's generic across this style of gaming, but I wasn't expecting that. An absolutely wonderful treat. So that's just a brief of bags, banking, storage. Make sure you've got fully loaded bags. Make sure you take advantage of this 30, off to the side 30 slot storage space. This 30 slot storage space, I believe, both in paying and unpaid accounts, is accessible and available to share across all your characters. And just an absolute superb way to help manage storage space. The last one I want to quickly talk about is the Blackline Trading Company. This one actually took me a while to figure out. There's a ton of videos on YouTube from the old school crew. That's what I meant to say. No offense, guys, I swear. They're in the mentality of playing endgame and selling. I found there's dozens and dozens of videos of how to sell your stuff. I couldn't find any videos of how do I buy stuff. And if I buy it, how do I pick it up? So you got your Blackline Trading here company, and it loads. It's not laggy, guys. It is just me running a whole lot of software, putting a lot of strain on it. I find in general play I don't have this kind of slow loads or anything like that. You jump down to the bottom, so let's talk about Blackline while we're here quickly. Like I say, I'm still mechanically illiterate about all of this, but it looks pretty straightforward. Your initial one is to buy gems. Of course, that's always going to be the biggest shiny button, and that's going to say, you know, X amount of dollars for X amount of gems. When you're ready. And of course it offers you these kind of methods, and you make your purchase, and with gems you can buy a lot of these items, customized outfits and things like that. You know, of course I said I'm curious about obviously costumes, so you can just come down here and give you an indication. You can get a quick idea of how much they cost and things like that in addition. But the factor I want to talk about is this trading post. So you come to the trading post, and I believe by default, say as a newbie, I want to buy, as we do as newbies, I'm curious, what is a new sword, what is a new gun going to cost me? So we jump into weapons. It will by default list what is available to that specific profession. So you'll be given an inventory here. Prices of everything are listed here, and these are posted by players. So it's a, what do we say, a fluctuating player-based trading environment, which I've come across in other games. EVE Online and things like that have a very good one, and I get the vibe of this is going to be something similar. So from here you can purchase your item. You can do this at any point, any time of the game. Now say we buy something, we're something cheap and nasty, so I'm going to sort by price and just buy something cheap and nasty. And then you have the choice. Be aware of the level of the item. You can do by level or you can do by price. Obviously at level 10 I can't, there's no point in me purchasing everything. Okay, let's get a dull blade. Dull blade for 10 coin. Let's purchase that. It'll give us this interface. We say buy instantly, and it's done. Pick up your item from a Blackline trader. This one was quite tricky for me, finding a Blackline trader. I asked in chat, I looked around forums, I couldn't find any information of how to simply find a Blackline trader. Then I remembered that there was one. Of all the 5 realms you guys have seen me run around, I could be wrong. I could be wrong because, you know, I'm only sort of paying attention to this part of the game now. But the only one I'm aware of off the top of my head, and I should mention, I hadn't mentioned, I just noticed as I was exploring this part of the game in the recent period of doing these videos that I mean I'd seen it in notes but I'd forgotten that when you reach level 10 I believe you are granted access, let me check. Yep, you are granted access to the other realms from their start points. Here we go. So here we are in Bobblehead World, starting point. Over here is what have we got? Rainbow Vomit and Unicorn Poop here with the Groots. So from that point you can jump at level 10. You can start jumping around all the other 5 realms, which in my mindset is okay, I'm going to take the more human characters I'm favoring and play them through in all the 5 realms rather than the specific race of that realm. I think that was right. So anyway, you can start jumping around. So if you are in another race, as far as I know, but I could be absolutely wrong on this, guys, the only one I can sort of mentally I could find, to be quite honest, was in the human realm, a trader to collect the items I purchased from. And not too far away from here, but this was the run I did a couple of episodes ago with the escorting the mule, doing the random dynamic event. And this little icon here, so that's our banker icon, the little bag, and this is a trader icon. And I swear to God I looked everywhere, and this is the only place I ended up discovering to find one. So I'll do a quick jump there just to save us the couple of minutes running. and from there you can collect any items you purchase. I haven't explored selling yet. I'm just add one thing at a time, taking my time. But I just thought out of curiosity I wanted to know a little bit about what goes on with this. Another factor I should mention too is this is where you start to see a separation between paid accounts, which obviously I'm on here, to non-paid accounts. Things here start to change. Up until now it's been okay, but here you start to see some solid changes of options you do and don't have between the two styles. But I'll cover that in a second. So we find it, there it is, we've got the Libra scales there. Have a quick chat to this guy, and I believe, see, we get an icon that I've got an item to collect, and like I say, from there, I could have been in any realm. I could have played with it in one of the other realms, or made the purchase in one of the other realms, any location in the game, having made the purchase from the icon at the top, and simply come and find this guy and collect my dull blade that we purchased, and that's it. The transaction's done. Simple as that. So purchase anywhere, anytime, anywhere across the game. But to collect, you're going to have to find specifically one of these guys. I'm a little confused at this point, not important, but just sharing what I'm going through. Trading agents seem to appear at random, and I'm assuming they're people that I can pick my goods up for, but I haven't been able to, and so maybe a skill or something is required to access them. But you will get traders, company traders showing up as avatars, NPCs randomly around the game with an icon on the map. I had a few of them sort of dot up, they'll appear for a few minutes and then disappear. I tried to interact with them, but I wasn't allowed to. We'll assume it's a skill, not a big deal. So that's it, done our purchase. That's a quick example of the lion. Another quick thing I want to mention, just of all the notes I read, I liked it. I don't know how true or false it is, but I liked it. A guy mentioned, he said, listen guys, from 1 to 80, don't stress this stuff too much. He said that it's quite easy to go all the way to 80 with nothing more than the basic knickknacks you can get from the merchants and a handful of goodies and bonus items you'll pick along in your questing along the way. There's more than enough, so don't get too stressed about trying to have top gear to survive throughout that period. I don't know yet, but I'm going to go with that, and I'm liking that idea for now. So definitely I'll play, but I will stick to that principle of probably trying to make it through the game with what's sort of most easily and readily available, rather than going crazy about shopping for things that far exceed the power that I need and be way OP'd at all parts of the game. I don't want that. So that's a quick brief on those guys. I'll be back in a sec. If we've got time, I want to talk briefly. At this point, I think it's a good time to talk about the difference between cash and non-cash accounts. Let me get my head together and refocus, and I'll see you in a second. So I got my head together and realized talking about the pros and cons between cash accounts and non-cash accounts is going to be a little more lengthy than I'd like for this episode, on the simple grounds that I think I've made another mistake. Not to spend the money, but the choice of how I spent it. So I'll make that, we'll go about that later. But for now, let's just wrap up. I do want to talk about how the first variables I've noticed that are different between cash and non-cash accounts. So bags is the first one. So on this email account, I have our feral warrior and my little athletic Viking that I like playing. What is she? Guardian? I think, yes, playing the Guardian. So between those two, give a quick example. So in a non-cash account, to state the obvious, we only get 3 bags instead of 5. Be aware of that. I'm finding, so that's just a small observation. While I've got you here, let's do it quickly. Let's have a quick look at, let's go buddy, let's just walk. Rather than spend 2 minutes walking, let's just jump over here. So I've got a bank icon here. And what I'm going to do, just to give you a full follow through, since I didn't do it on the last one, is actually throw some things in the bank, jump over to Viking Girl, jump in, and hopefully I can find a bank. And we see quickly that how easy it is to transfer equipment across characters. I think, hang on, speaking of such, I talked about being able to share things. I think I said gem. I've done diamond. It was a diamond. It was it's absolutely a diamond. 30 slots extra in storage, and that those 30 slots can be shared around your characters, and either a paid or cash account is just superb. Where are we going? Better get your bearings. Up the hill. Like I say, I like to call this Jabba the Hutt territory. I don't know why, it just is to me. I expect to go into one of these grotty buildings and see the whole gang. There we go, hiding in the back corner there. And I think this is an amazing feature I just really wasn't expecting. Talk. Bag. Let's throw a couple of items over there. Oh, you got a 5-slot purple bag, hang on to that. Let's throw something. She likes maces. She likes, oh, great iron sword. Let's give her one of those. And what, dude, I mean, you're going to ask this girl out of what? What do we give her? I mean, she's a saucy looking girl. We can't just give her crap. We've got to give her stuff she likes. A dagger? Spear. Could you use that? No, give her a set of gloves then. Let's give her a nice set of gloves. Good on you, mate. She'll like that. Mace, a good solid sword. That's a good first move, dude. Let's send her that. Alright, so with that done, let's jump out of the sky. Jump on over to her. Log out, switch characters. Jump to our sassy little Viking lass. And then, so like I said, then I'm going to, the other one I really noticed is Blackline trading. That's where I noticed the biggest separation between paid and non-paid accounts really starts to show up. And while I'm here, I'll show you that. And then, or what at the moment? And then I'll do one more episode, briefly covering in more detail how I feel about the paid and non-paid accounts and characters, and then just a couple of quick tidbits that I feel I've forgotten to mention along the way. Just a handful of bullet points, and I think that'll do as a nice final episode for this season 1. That's kind of how I've got it in my head now. Although I do plan to, whatever that is, what is it? I think this is 1.5, 1.6 as a wrap up. I'm going to do, what I'm looking forward to doing is a 1.7. After long play and well into endgame, a handful of characters over 80, I'm going to come back and slap on one more episode of slapping myself, and if the kid knew, if I could have told the kid then what I know now, kind of thing, just to finish out this each season. I think I'll do that. Okay, so what are we going? We're going to take this for a young lady and we're going to find a bank for her. And I believe I just recently exposed one. So like I said, you get a bank every 5 or 6 cities, not in every one. You'll always find, what am I thinking, merchants everywhere. But the banks are one every 5 or 6. And I'm finding the Blackline traders extremely hard to find around the game. And I don't understand the mechanics of that. I don't know why. So it makes it harder to empty your bag and you have to buy more bag space. My bad. My bad, Arena. Missed that one. Stupid newbie. I'm going to trip over a lot of those. Okay, so here we are, obviously in her realm. Just some boy left you an email. Sweetie, he said you got to pick up some goodies. Oh, what's he giving me? What's he giving me? Was he cute? Yeah, he was cute. You're my opinion girl. I think he's cute. And ta-da! There it is from the from Feral as a gift to her. She got no room in her bag. She can't take them. Oh bugger! Why? Because this idiot Kryptonite hasn't bought any bags again. So I was there to say. I mean, it's only 4 more slots. I can only bother, for now I can only bother buy another 4 or 5 slot bag from what I've seen. But it would make the difference to pick up these 3 or 4 items. So like I said, make sure you load up on bag space. Can we dump anything? Deploy all materials. There we go. Problem sorted. Problem sorted. Chat to this boy. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, look, he gave me a nice girl. He gave you a great sword. You better text him. No? Why can't I move that? There we go, learn curve. Soulbound. Yeah, obviously, yes, some things are and some things aren't. My mistake, guys. Not everything. I was aware of that. That was my mistake. Some things are soulbound to that specific character. You can't transfer absolutely everything. Sorry for misdirecting you with that. And so there you go. Now the last one I wanted to do is Blackline from a non-cash account. Now it gets interesting. Now, of course, all the functions and features to spend gems, of course, are all available. But when it comes to the trading post, the interaction of sales between players, I've got one item to pick up. In the early days I bought something and then couldn't figure out where the hell to buy it, pick it up from. So let's have a look. She wants to buy an axe. She'd look pretty hot with an axe. And all of a sudden, what you're going to see is a whole lot of padlocks, of things that are not available to you. So even if we switch price to dirt cheaps, which is you obviously giveaways to the lowest levels, she's level 10, let's change it to levels. All item player levels, all these items can be bought by a level 0 player. Available, no, padlocked, locked, 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 everything. Almost everything is locked. And I'm going to scroll down, and eventually something is going to appear that is unlocked, and it'll shine like a bright star in the night amongst all of this. I mean, I'm surprised. Even the, what is it, the dull weapons she's using kind of thing. How long will we have to keep scrolling? So at first I thought, and you'll try and click it and you'll get this pop-up, guys. You need to purchase the upgrade, 4 days, blah blah blah. Don't panic, it's just a simple case of no about what feels like, and it's, of course it's a hypothetical number, but it feels like you're locked out of about 95% of what's available in the store. Let's keep going, let's find something she can buy. Eventually something's going to come up that we're allowed to purchase. Here we go, finally something. There we go, here we've got a handful of things. So finally, here are a handful of knickknacks that at level 5 we're allowed to purchase. So yes, this is quite a crippling one. That a non-cash player, they've obviously seriously dumbed down what you're allowed access to. So just be aware of that. That as a cash player you have access to everything. As a non-cash player it feels like only maybe 5%, and I'm sure that there are items that for their variables there's reasons why you can and can't have a lot of this stuff. The other one, I apologize, while we're here I meant to check while we were in the cash account, but it's a perfect time to check from this account, is I've talked about 4 and 5 slot bags, but you can purchase bags through this process and posted by players. Locked. I just wanted to quickly check. These are all unlocked over on the other account just from checking previously before doing videos. Okay. Any? A couple are 10 slot. 10 slots unlocked? Cool. So my recommendation, guys, is then immediately, like I said, it's new to me, I would suggest not at that price. Holy cow. Okay, 5,000 each, guys. That's what it is. That's what it is. 15 slots are 160,000. Am I right? No, I'm 15,000. 15,000 and 5,000. Yeah. Okay, so guys, if you want to break away from the 4 and 5 slot bags at this point, my mental perception is we're going to have to pay that, and we need that. We need them. We need that slot space, so we can trade out our 4 and 5s for those two guys. As a cash player, we have a much larger array of options. We can get 10. Oh no! Let's talk about price. Cheapos. With the 5 slot bags, 5 slot bags for $4, we can get those anywhere. Basic ones, where does it turn? 8 slots. 8 slots, we're still at 26, so the 8 slot bags are dirt cheap, but only cash players have access to it. Okay, I just wanted to quickly cover that. So that kind of covers that array of interaction in the way of bags and banking. Banking seems to be fine in both, and the Blackline greatly limited between cash and non-cash accounts. So we'll wrap it up there, guys, before it gets long-winded like the last one did. In the next one, like as briefly mentioned, I want to do a wrap-up of my thoughts on cash and non-cash accounts, and a handful of bullet points as I sort of do flashbacks and go, man, I wish I'd mentioned that. And I'll just do a handful of quick bullet points, and I think that'll wrap it up for Season 1 of the journey of 1 to 10. So as always, have fun, whatever game you're playing. I hope you're winning and having fun with it, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.